I'm live, baby. All right, stations. Again, this is going to be pre-recorded. We got about 6 minutes before we actually start. We're going to try to stay on the same time as the regular show here, so I can stay on time as well. It says we're live. Is it live? Are you on? Is it? Good. Give me a check on your mic over there.
Syllabus. Otis Spunkmeyer.
That's a real name of a hot dog, a pizza oven, or whatever it is. All right, stations here. We're going to start at 6 minutes after, so you can skip ahead right through that. If you're watching this as a rerun or tonight here, we're doing this as a preview because we're fishing the Dakota Walleye Classic tomorrow, so I won't be on Saturday morning live. It is a pre-recorded program, and just take care of that as we go here. Josh, how you doing? We're fishing tomorrow, so we're doing a Master John, good to have you here. Thank you. Thank you. We're having hams and eggs. Doing good. Good to have you along. Yeah, so we're doing with the number 3 guy in the tournament. Probably going to win the damn thing tomorrow. I got to send a text to Sherrado here. We're not last. Are we last? We're not last. Willie Swanky passed away. Yeah. Isn't that just nice to have that on the show? So there you go.
Good man. Speaking of fishing.
Yeah.
Loved fishing.
Great guy. Spent most of his time down in Mobridge. All right. Where are we at time-wise here? 6:02. We're going to get started here. I got to make sure I got my stuff organized here. That's ready to go. That's loud, by the way. Check, check, check. How's the audio there for the Josh? You guys that are listening here, is it a little hot? Is it okay? How's it sound here? Doing it on my remote thing here. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. It should be good here. Sounds good. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate that. So I wonder why these C3 cords don't work with my phones in these systems here. I wonder what the heck's going on there. Why the data cable does not work. That's interesting. Same thing on my drone, too. It won't work on my drone either. We're 94 right now. How old are you? 46? We're 96. 46. We're 97 years together. It's still going to be a few years. It'll be 13 more years. Got to be 110.
Each one of us gets a year. Each year. 5 more years. 6 more years.
Yeah, still. I probably won't be fishing by then. I'll be dead. The way I live in my life. We doing time here. Check 1 2. Check, 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 check. I just lost a little audio. There it is. Oh, you got a old style one there, don't you? She's a little dirty.
That connector might be from
when I was DJing.
Back when you still DJed.
Holy moly.
I don't know.
You still have the damn trailer out back.
I know. It's got a golf cart in it. That old turquoise 3-wheeler's in there.
You don't get rid of anything, do you?
Well, Mom and Dad had it. Mom was using it for gardening, and then it finally died. So I told Dad to throw it in that trailer. I'm going to take it up to Garrison and donate it to the golf cart guy for parts because it's got a clutch and a carburetor on it. It's pretty new. So
Kurt wants to know where your place is.
I will send him a message.
He could be in the second half. They're leading it. Yeah.
Where's here? Just give me his number.
Well, right there it is. All right, 45 seconds here, and then we start this whole rigmarole. Wonder why that doesn't work. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors, all across the Dakota Territory. Heard on great radio stations like KGFX out of Pierre, South Dakota, KOLY Mobridge, K-Fire 550 Bismarck, Mandan, KLTC in Dickinson, and the Minot, the Magic City, KCJB 910. Good morning, everybody. Good to have you along here. Scott Bachmeyer, Jesse Flath, as we're reporting live from the Dakota Walleye Classic. Well, we're actually live in Jesse's shop. The day before. This is a pre-recorded program because as you're listening to this on the radio stations right now, we're probably out in the Lake Sakakawea side of things, having a little fun trying to get some fish in. Jesse, welcome back to the program here in your shop. Thanks for having us. As people are watching on YouTube, we got the wet liner right here behind us. And that
she was wet
well
today.
on Friday. Well, we
buddy.
got to pretend it's like the next day. So
yeah,
yesterday.
pre-recorded.
It was ugly getting out. Right away, it felt like it was pretty good. Then when we got into the big body of water, the waves were a little bit large.
We had about an 8-mile run to where we were planning on going, and we made it about 3 miles into that, and things went a little sideways on us.
It got rough.
But we made it there.
It did.
We did find out that my bilge pump is not functioning, but
we need to get a fuse into that here. Hopefully,
another day, another problem. Yeah.
We didn't need it today. We should need it, or yesterday. We should need it today. But man, it was we got wet.
Yeah,
and we got really, really wet.
They were really looking at us at the bar last night when we tried to pay for our pizza with sopping wet money.
I had really wet $20 bills. They were even scared to grab them. They're like, "Wow, like what did you do to these things here?" So, but yeah, what a long day getting there. But once we got behind that, I guess you could call it what was it?
Well, we were back in a bay to where we were pretty sheltered.
Beaver Creek or whatever.
Yeah, we were down by Beaver and kind of got us out of the wind. There was still some wind in there, though. I thought we could troll with the wind and just work this shoreline back and forth. And there was still enough wind in there that trolling with the wind was not.
It was fast.
It wasn't working very good,
Yeah.
but we picked up a couple fish. We caught a lot of fish today,
Yeah.
just wrong species and too small when we did get into the walleyes.
Well, so here's the thing. Last weekend was the Governor's Cup, both North and South Dakota. We're going to start with the South Dakota results because all of our listeners down in the South Dakota side of things. Let's talk about what happened at the South Dakota Governor's Cup last weekend.
You know,
the 50th year for them.
Yeah, the 50th year of the South Dakota Gov Cup last weekend. Good weights, you know. First day, 20.87 was leading it. That team ended up not winning. Day one leader ended up down about 10th place or so. To be in the top 5 on day one, you had to have a little over 16 pounds, 16.2 pounds. Big fish, though, day one was nice, 11.3 pounds down there. So a real nice fish. On day two, the big fish looks like there was a 10.5 pound fish on day two.
And I'm not sure, but I think South Dakota's limit of 4.
Looks like they were turning in 5.
It does? Okay. All right.
Yep.
Depends on where they're at, I guess.
It is. It depends on, we talked about that yesterday on the Daily Show, that a lot of the South Dakota bodies of water have slot limits on them.
Yeah.
I do not believe a Walleye does. It does?
They do. Yeah, you can only keep
Well,
one over 21, I believe. I think only one over
Okay.
21, and
Okay.
the rest may be open. But
So it was real interesting, though, looking at the final results of the South Dakota Governor's Cup. The winners that they came in with a total of 35.56 pounds. They came from 10th place on day one to win the tournament. So they had a big day, too. Second place, first place was Riley Poog. Not sure how to say his name. Pugh.
where's that?
On the top in the first place, the winners. It's up there.
Yeah, Pow.
And Riley and
I don't know.
Riley and his partner Adam Porter, they won it. They came from 10th place to win with little over 35 pounds. Second place was Michael Warren and Trevor Deigel. They were outside of top 20 on day one, and they came up to get second place with 29.53 pounds. Curtis Oliver and Justin Oliver ended up taking third place with 28.59 pounds. They were in 17th place day one. Heath Landsman and Doug Landsman ended up fourth with 28.37 pounds. They were also outside of the top 20 on day one. And the fifth place, also outside of the 20th top 20 people on day one. Tyson Keller and Janelle Keller come in fifth with 28.18. The day one leader ended up down the board about 13th or so. Day one second place was in about 10th. Day one third place was in about 15th or worse. And day one fourth place ended up in 6th for the South Dakota Governor's Cup. So
it doesn't matter where you come into the first day. It seems like you can, unless you're like us today, you can really come in and make the second day count.
I'm hoping that we have the type of day tomorrow that's the opposite of the winners of the North Dakota Governor's Cup.
Yeah,
because day one of the North Dakota Governor's
Cup.
Hold
on now. You want to get to that on this break here? We have 3.5 minutes.
Now we better wait. We better get to that right after the break. There's some interesting happenings there as well.
But the thing that really gets me, like in South Dakota, and this is, I believe, on Lake Oahe.
Yep,
is where it was. I believe it is. You can keep one over 20 or 21 inches. So that means all the other ones were under that.
Had to be right at 20.
They had to be good fat fish, though. Yeah,
I mean to pull 20.8 pounds in a day, and only keep one over 20. Either they per person,
per person,
but still, it takes a couple hogs with everything else under 20 to make that weight.
So that's a hard thing about slot limits in the South Dakota tournaments. I mean, like I was with Kevin Vaughn a couple weeks back fishing Orman. We could keep 1 over 18 on that lake. Everything else had to be under 15. 15 to 18, you had to throw back. And they say that the health of that fishery is going downhill. And they're actually looking at removing that slot limit. So it's interesting, with the slot limits, whether good or bad. I don't know.
I wonder if part of the problem there isn't the size of the body of water. I mean, it's a nice sized lake, but it's not
huge.
It's not a Sakakawea or a Oahe.
It's similar to like Shade Hill. It's
right.
Similar to that size.
And I just wonder if you keep too many numbers of fish in there, if it doesn't hurt your health because there's just not enough food for all of them.
Well, let me ask you this. If you hook one really deep and you're reaching in with your long-nosed players to get that out, and you throw it back in because it's a 17-inch, because you have to?
Yep.
Is it going to die? Are you losing a lot of those numbers that you're just throwing in that you could have kept in your live well and ate?
That is always an argument. Yeah. You will talk to guys that say every fish you hook deep, whether you throw them in and they swim back down, they're going to die anyway. And then there's guys that say, no, they all live. And I've even talked to different fish biologists that have differing opinions on that. So I don't know what to think about it. I mean, I'm pretty much the type of guy where as little as I fish, if I catch it, it's coming home.
Well, as it should.
And going in the freezer.
Yeah.
As long as it's big enough. So that's the problem that I have with
small fish. Maybe it's going to die too.
The South Dakota limit, though, the slot limit down there, you take a 14, 13-inch fish.
Not much to eat.
No, there's that. Yeah. I'm throwing that back before I throw a 24-incher back, because that little fish, there's nothing to eat anyway. You're wasting that fish.
But so we were catching all over 18s, 20s, 22, 23-inch. After all of us got our over 18, we had to throw them all back.
Yeah.
And we were throwing everything. We all caught our first one over 18 and on that body of water.
Then had a hard time getting your bottoms.
We each had one fish. That's it.
Yeah.
So the slot limits, I think, I'm not sure where. I don't know if I agree with them because that
Yeah.
was hard fishing, and I think if you take that and you start putting slot limits again, are you going to be killing some of these fish? I'm not sure. So, anyway, we'll talk more of that. We'll go through the that was the South Dakota Governor's Cup results. We'll have the North Dakota side coming up in the next break. Plus, we have the number 3 leader of day 1
At the
with
Dakota
us
Walleye
at the
Classic.
Dakota Walleye Classic. We'll be back right after these messages. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty out of Bowman, North Dakota would like to invite you to the Len Sadler Memorial Classic Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show, Saturday, July 27th. Mustangs, Corvettes, a 1928 Graham Page, Mercury Cougar, REO Speedwagon, a 38 Chevy sedan, a 49 Hudson, and much, much more, including oil and gas memorabilia. Join Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty for the Len Sadler Memorial Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show, July 27th, Main Street, Bowman, North Dakota.
Agriculture is a community of hard work, passion, optimism for the future, and a commitment to the livestock and land. For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing. Our local lending team knows the industry and the challenges, from droughts to winter blizzards. Stop by one of our branches today in your work boots or cowboy boots. You're always welcome.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's your tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran-owned and operated. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty out of Bowman, North Dakota would like to invite you to the Len Sadler Memorial Classic Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show, Saturday, July 27th. Mustangs, Corvettes, a 1928 Graham Page, Mercury Cougar, REO Speedwagon, a 38 Chevy sedan, a 49 Hudson, and much, much more, including oil and gas memorabilia. Join Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty for the Len Sadler Memorial Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show, July 27th, Main Street, Bowman, North Dakota.
I'm Dale Polkey with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, the bank that puts community in its name. We're not just any bank. We're your trusted partner in lending. With a strong commitment to our local communities, we go above and beyond to support and uplift the areas we serve. From providing personalized lending solutions to supporting local businesses and organizations, Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where the community is at the heartbeat of everything we do. equal housing lender.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors across the world. You can hear it on my YouTube channel live. Subscribe if you can. That would help me out quite a bit here at Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio. If not, you can hear it right here on all your local radio stations across the Dakota Territory. Thank you so much for having nearly 2 decades of Dakota Prairie Outdoors across the area. Jesse Flath is a guest here with me. You getting anything in there?
There we go.
You got all kinds of headache.
My 36-year-old splitter that we're using for the headphones isn't quite up to par.
Yeah, you need to update that, and you should update your boat, really.
I
Because I
know.
come up here to fish with you, and it's hard when we get made fun of as like, hey, does that boat still have the original flotation devices from the 1940s in it or not? So anyway, so all right. North Dakota Governor's Cup was last weekend, their 49th year. Go through some of those results, please.
So what was interesting, you heard in the first segment that South Dakota Governor's Cup, out of the top 5, there was 3 of the top 5 that were outside of the top 20 on day 1.
Yeah.
First and third place were 10th and 17th. So people really came from behind to place in the top 5 in the South Dakota Cup. Now, North Dakota was a little bit different situation. When we all saw day 1 results, we thought, well, there's...
Okay, so let's specify the Governor's Cup is held on Lake Sakakawea.
It is. It's held at a garrison.
Yeah.
And they have a pretty small area. They can go all the way to the embankment. They can go to the dam. And then as far as west, they cannot go into Expansion Bay for people that know the lake, which is about halfway between Beulah and Hazen Bay. No, it's west of Beulah. In between Beulah and Hazen?
Next bay over.
Yeah. So they
Gotta
can
remember, people can't hear him when he says. You
Yep,
have to.
I
repeat
was
what he
just
says.
verifying with him. So the east maybe quarter of the lake is the only thing they can fish. Day 1 was really interesting. Coming in leading day 1 was Ernie Barnhart and Corey Christensen, and they had 31 pounds the first day. Second place was 19. Nobody thought that they would be eclipsed to win, and they ended up getting second. They had a rough day 1, so that's why I said in the first segment that I'm hoping that you and I can have day 2 like they had a day 1 and come back, because on day 2 they struggled and they ended up second place. They only went from 31 to 35 pounds, so they caught 4 pounds of fish day 2. But winning the tournament up here in North Dakota was Travis Brothers and Dustin Bowers. They were third after day 1, ended up winning with 35.23. As I said, Ernie Barnhart and Corey Christensen ended up second. They were first day 1. They had 35.09, so it was real close, first and second place. 2-day tournament. Third place was Justin Bechtold and Jason Bechtold. Now, they've done well in the Walleye Classic before, because when you and I used to MC this tournament, I remember saying their name a lot. So there's some pretty good fishermen. They were second day 1, ended up third with 30.19. Then Don Schumacher and Jesse Schumacher, they were 8th day 1, ended up 4th in the tournament with 29.58 pounds. And then 5th place, coming from behind, Weston and Steven Weisenberger, they were 18th on day 1 and came back with 29.31 pounds total to get 5th place. It still can happen, though, because 6th place, I will go to 6th on the North Dakota tournament. They came from more than 25 back. Nathan Stremick and Jordan Geiger with just shy of 28 pounds to get 6th place. They were outside the top 25. So you can have a big day, too, and come back and do pretty well. So it's just we've got the day 1 third place. One of the partners here with us today, Thomas Lyons. They did quite well today. We're not going to ask you where you were at, because you're going to lie to us anyway, like all fishermen. But what were you guys doing today?
I got to come back in here and say
Okay.
it says before I give the mic over to Thomas. Politically correct, you need to say anglers because there's women out here. They're not all fishermen.
Women or men as well.
No,
I don't need
anglers.
your PC junk. Just give the microphone to
Angler.
him. Get out of here. Last person in the world that can make me be PC is you. Hello. So Thomas Lyons is here. Dylan Martell's your partner this year. You guys got out there. Nice Warrior boat with a tiller on it. We told you not to run us over because you were leaving just after us this morning. Thomas, by the way, was the one that told Scott and I that we should have the old orange wraparound life jackets on to match our boat. So we got some words of wisdom from him this morning. But how did your day go today? Obviously decent in third place, but what did you do? Not where did you go, but did you fish one way, three ways, every ways? How did it go today, Thomas?
I mean, we definitely had to fish everything we had in the boat. We were throwing everything we had at them. There was a lot of fish that would just follow our baits back to the boat and wouldn't bite. So ended up just throwing everything we could at them. We were doing a little bit of live baiting with creek chubs. And then we caught some on jig wraps. And we tried throwing a jig and a worm, and they just would follow it all the way back to the boat and turn away and disappear.
That's what we were kind of seeing. Do you guys have live scope?
Yeah.
That's kind of the new thing. So we think that's what was happening, but we're not quite that fancy. We're just glad we got back to the dock today. But we saw the same thing even on the just regular depth finder. Marking a lot of fish, just can't get them to bite, and that's kind of been what we've been hearing all summer so far. Is fishing's been a little tougher this year than usual. Guys get into some fish once in a while, but on average, it's been tough. 2-man limit of 10 fish. You've got to check in your top 5. How many fish did you guys catch today that were actually weighable?
We only caught 6 walleyes, period. And they were all weighable technically. We had a 15.5-inch sauger. And then that was our one fish that we gave back just for them to clean. And then our other fish we had 2 that are right at 21 inches. And then we had a 27-inch, 28-inch, and then 29-inch. Yeah,
it sometimes isn't how many or how good you are, but you guys got to get lucky and catch the right ones. We probably caught 10 walleyes today, but most of them were the size of kipper snacks. We didn't know there was a smallest walleye competition, or we might have been into that. We were close. 8 inches is leading that. So, what? How about depths? Were you guys kind of were you when you were doing your jigging wrapping? Were you just finding fish and fishing them, or were you on an island and searching around, or how did you go about that?
So we started off in the morning. We were fishing main lake points, and we had one that it's holding big fish, and they were there when we left anyways, because there's quite a few of them that stayed there and just wouldn't bite. So we had to run across lake a little ways and find a different spot, and we were running the shoreline is where we got the fish to actually bite the jig wraps at. And that was actually shallower than we were on that main lake point. And that was it's probably about 16 feet of water, I think 16 to 18 feet of water there. And those ones were the only ones we could get to go on a jig wrap. But those ones out deeper, they were a little more slower than the other ones up shallower there.
We're hearing a lot of that from a lot of fishermen that they're catching all the way down to 6-8 feet and all the way out to 40. Well, we tried it all. We went from 6 to 53. Scott caught about a 4-inch perch in 54 feet of water, 52 feet of water, somewhere in there. He also caught that was a lot of feel. I'll give you that one.
You can call it that.
I'm pretty sure he side hooked a creek chub. We're not sure what it was, but he caught a fish that was like 3 inches long with the hook. We'll have to show you a picture of that. It's we caught everything except for what we wanted to or needed to. We caught, when we went shallow, all we caught was bass and a couple shiners, So we gave up on the shallow fishing, but it seemed like that 17 to 24 foot area was kind of where we marked the most fish. I won't say we necessarily caught the most fish there, but that's where we had a lot of good marks, but just couldn't get to it, So we'll follow up with some more results on Dakota Walleye Classic. There's a bunch of different categories we'll kind of rip through after the break here.
Some categories that we didn't even know about.
Some categories we didn't know about. Yeah. 2 categories that we're in.
Yeah.
We might be towards the bottom of the list, but we're in there.
The third one, the smallest walleye.
Yeah, we didn't know about that. We have a shot at that now that we know. We're good at catching small fish.
I just showed him my little tiny one that I side hooked on the last one there. So
Yeah, you have to go to you
you know how hard it is to catch a minnow? That takes talent.
with a big hook.
All right, we'll be back. More Dakota Prairie Outdoors from the Dakota Walleye Classic coming up your way here after a few messages. And remember, the Piper's sale is this morning here. Starts at 11 o'clock Mountain Time. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty out of Bowman, North Dakota would like to invite you to the Len Sadler Memorial Classic Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show Saturday, July 27th. Mustangs, Corvettes, a 1928 Graham Page, Mercury Cougar, REO Speedwagon, a 38 Chevy sedan, a 49 Hudson, and much, much more, including oil and gas memorabilia. Join Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty for the Len Sadler Memorial Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show July 27th, Main Street, Bowman, North Dakota.
Agriculture is a community of hard work, passion, optimism for the future, and a commitment to the livestock and land. For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing. Our local lending team knows the industry and the challenges, from droughts to winter blizzards. Stop by one of our branches today in your work boots or cowboy boots. You're always welcome.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran owned and operated. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty out of Bowman, North Dakota would like to invite you to the Len Sadler Memorial Classic Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show Saturday, July 27th. Mustangs, Corvettes, a 1928 Graham Page, Mercury Cougar, REO Speedwagon, a 38 Chevy sedan, a 49 Hudson, and much, much more, including oil and gas memorabilia. Join Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty for the Len Sadler Memorial Car Auction in conjunction with the Dakota Territory Car Club Car Show July 27th, Main Street, Bowman, North Dakota.
I'm Dale Paulke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, the bank that puts community in its name. We're not just any bank, we're your trusted partner in lending. With a strong commitment to our local communities, we go above and beyond to support and uplift the areas we serve. From providing personalized lending solutions to supporting local businesses and organizations, Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where the community is at the heartbeat of everything we do. equal housing lender.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors, and it is a replay. Well, I should say pre-recorded, not a replay, because we're doing this the night before. Because at this point, Jesse Plath and myself, we're catching probably a 34-inch walleye at this point. Yeah, I'm going big or go home right now, is what I'm saying.
Fair enough. I'm in.
I mean, they don't know until we report Monday on my daily program and all these stations, plus a few other ones. So why not try to go that way? But anyway, Jesse, you have results of day one of the Dakota Walleye Classic, and I'm just going to let you talk to him and Thomas here and talk about what they've been going, because number 3 over here.
Yeah, we'll go through the
day one.
We'll go through the top 10 here quick of the main tournament. Kurt Shirato and his partner, last name Renner. I don't know what his first name is. They just have last names on the app here. Mr. Renner and Kurt Shirato, they're in first place with 27.72 pounds. Subert and Huyen Win. All right, is in second with 26.69. Dylan Martell and Thomas Alliance. Thomas sitting here with us. He's in third place with 25.79 pounds. Team Dumagula in fourth with 23.1 pounds. Schmidt and Jones in fifth with 20.61. Fitterer and Winbauer, they're in sixth place with 19.43. Team Kensmo in seventh with 18.82. Miller and Frenzel are in eighth with 18.33. Kuderna and Hans in ninth place with 17.11. And in 10th place, Team Stern with 16.9 pounds. To be in the top 20, you had to have a little over 15 pounds. But decent weights, I'd say average weights for the Classic for day one. Big fish day one is Kuderna and Hans. They had a 9.61 pound fish. Dylan and Thomas are in second place, big fish day one, which doesn't win you anything, but it's kind of cool to have an 8.94 pound fish in the boat. Another one of the categories, Budget Boys, 150 horsepower or less boat. Leading that is Team Mortensen with 15.3 pounds. Bringing up the rear in 13th place is Scott and I with 2.52 pounds with our two fish. Thank you very much. Immediate family and spouses team. Team Dumagula is sitting in first with 23.1. There is what's called the Pee Wee Combined, age 60 years and under for the team. Thomas and Dylan are sitting in first with 25.79 pounds. We're not sure how much that wins. You were thinking maybe 500. We don't know what that wins.
I can't. They don't ever post the.
I think all them extras are 500. So they're sitting there with a $500 bill coming if they can stay ahead of the second place team's only got 13. So let's hope these guys have a good second day as well for the main tournament and that category. Scott, you and I are not far off this Salty Dogs combined category. Team age over 110 years combined. But right now, Fitter and Weinbauer are leading that with 19.43 pounds. Category of skiff, 17.5-foot boat or shorter. Johannes and Hip are winning that with 13.05 pounds just on 3 fish. So they had 3 pretty nice fish. Wee Walleye day one. This is the one that I think we can come back and win. The shortest walleye by inch. And all you have to do is lay that walleye on your measuring board, take a picture of it, and get it to the tournament director. Right now, 8 inches winning that. Seiler and Candone with an 8-inch walleye. So there's your categories. 179 registered teams. 1,589 pounds of walleye caught today. So, Thomas, we were talking during the break.
When you say 1,590 pounds, where do the walleye go? What do they do with these on the fishing tournament like this?
So back when the Chamber of Commerce was still running this tournament, Beulah Chamber of Commerce ran this tournament for years and years and years. And they had a permit from the Game and Fish they clean that fish and they store it. And then it is used for community functions. They do multiple community fish fries, benefits for injured and disabled people, all kinds of different stuff. Now that this tournament is ran by Jeff, I don't know for sure. I know that, wasn't it last year, did they feed the homeless?
Yeah,
They donated it to homeless shelters, I believe.
they hit pretty much, I think they said every homeless shelter in North Dakota.
So it always, the meat that comes off of these fish, and that's, talk about another big job. They usually have a couple of organizations that donate time to clean fish, and it is a long 2 days cleaning 1,600 pounds of fish a day. But they take care of it right. They get it packaged up. They freeze it, and they donate it to a good place. So that's, everybody always asks what happens. Well, last year, you had the option of keeping your fish last year, I think, and they decided not to do that anymore. There's, anytime there's money involved, what is it to win? 18,000?
I think 17.
17,000? Anytime you got money involved, everybody that knows fishing at all remembers from a couple of years ago, the guys that made the national news. It was all over the internet, social media. They stuffed their fish full of lead weights, and they got caught because you can't have a 14-inch fish weigh 9 pounds. They were pretty dumb about it. It was, well, you're right. So it was pretty. I don't know why they thought they could get away with that, but it's really made it so a lot of these tournaments they've gotten even ornery about some of the rules, which Scott and I were talking about this morning, Thomas, and you and I just talked about it during the break. The newest, latest, greatest technology. There's always new things coming out. Bow hunting, there's range finding sites for your bow. Well, North Dakota Game and Fish will not let you use that. I don't know about South Dakota. Scott's not sure about that. You know, it took years and years to get lighted nocks available. It took years and years for a lot of things to happen. Well, now there's the new technology called live scope. I just saw an article this week that the big national bass fishing tournaments are looking at putting in some restrictions. Some boats have multiple live scopes on them. They're looking at either limiting it to only one live scope per boat, or limiting the total number of inches of screen that you can have on your boat for tournaments. Now, you guys do have one of the live scopes on Dylan's boat that you're using.
We actually run two of them.
You do run two. So tell the people out there that have heard of it or maybe haven't heard of it, what in the world does this live scope stuff do?
So basically all it is a live image under the water, so you can see everything in real time. As you throw your jig out there, you can see your jig hit the water and watch it drop down and get it around the fish. And then you can see how the fish reacts to it. So you can, whether you know if you want to rip it harder or if you want to just let it sit there or drop it past them. I mean, it's way easier to nowadays, so you can actually tell how the fish's mood is and what he wants and how he's going to react to it.
Can you see the fish good enough to where every time that we hooked up to a bass today, you hook up to a bass, and you take about 3 cranks on your reel and you go, God dang it, it's a bass. You know it's a bass once it's on your line for the most part. The way the fish move and swim in the live scope, can you kind of tell what's what, or that not quite to that extent?
It's pretty close to that. So, I mean, a new guy like you're not going to be able to tell immediately what a fish is. It takes, I mean, it took me probably about 2 years now until I can figure it out. I can be like, okay, so that's a bigger walleye. Oh, there's a carp. Oh, there's a bass. Stuff like that. I mean, it takes time to learn how to read it, but you can tell after a while. You'll be able to tell which is which.
I have a hard time just reading a regular depth finder. So how about if I see this live scope in action, I just go with you and Dylan someday and you show me? Because
it'll definitely work then.
It's probably beyond, as often as I fish, it's probably beyond my means to either buy one or use it. Everybody makes fun of me when I show up at this tournament. They ask if the boat's been wet this year or not, because the year that I did the best in this tournament was when I went out for the very first time of the year for the first day of the Dakota Walleye Classic here a few years ago. Like I said, sometimes it pays more to be lucky than good.
Definitely.
You know, one question Scott asked me on the way back in today, and I think I answered it right. As we were getting pounded to death and we're wet from our head to our toes in my father-in-law's aluminum crestliner, what's the take a 18.5-foot aluminum boat and an 18.5-foot fiberglass boat? And granted, there's some big differences between one aluminum boat and another, but just on average, on the water that we were on today with the big waves, what would you say is the difference and the advantages or disadvantages of both between an aluminum and a fiberglass boat, especially on a lake like Oahe or Skakawea?
Aluminum boats, I'd say, definitely hit the water a lot harder. I mean, you're more of a slap instead of just the fiberglass boats. They kind of push through them more so. So you're gonna get a lot smoother ride from a fiberglass boat. And like the Warrior that we're running, the Warriors are made, those 2090 Warrior tillers, they're really narrow. So they cut through the water a lot better than them big, wide aluminum boats. Even just like the Lund Thais and stuff, they're really wide boats. So them things just smash the water, and it's not a fun ride then.
So now on that narrower boat, if you get into some rollers and you're trying to fish and you get sideways, do they rock a lot more or do they sit still because of the weight?
You're going to rock the same whether you have...
No matter what.
No matter what.
Okay.
I mean, the waves we had today, we were jumping up and down. I mean, I swear they were 5-foot waves out there, but they were definitely not that big, but
I don't
going
know.
under some and coming up through, and it was, we were wet too.
Where Scott and I went today, we told you where we went, and you said, oh, so you got to go through the Bermuda Triangle. And I tell you what, there was some big rollers today, and what was really weird about it is as big as the waves were, they weren't white capping very often where we went, but the waves were huge. It was really strange, and I don't know if it was because the wind was swinging and switching as we were trying to go out, because it moved. I'd say the wind direction moved probably 90 degrees from when we left for our flight. In an hour it took us to get the 8 miles we went.
Yeah,
it really changed today.
It almost flipped a full 180 just as we were sitting out there. From launching the boat, it was at a southeast wind and then fully switched around to a northwest. But yeah, it was, the waves were kind of weird today. We had really wide troughs. We're not used to that, but I mean, you could actually, it was better probably to run sideways to them than it actually was with them, because you
not when you're in a crest liner from 2006.
Yeah, you're probably not getting any waves no matter what.
Well, like we said earlier today, earlier in the show here, we are pre-recording this, so it is the evening of the first day, and right now outside it is pouring rain pretty good. We got rained on about 3 or 4 times today. It was supposed to be pretty warm today, and it didn't really ever get there because of that rain and the overcast. What's tomorrow, or as you're listening to the show today, what's today going to be like out on the water? It's supposed to be a little warmer, a little less wind.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. Realistically, without the wind, it could hurt us, but I think it's going to be a lot easier to fish with the live scope. Today was awful trying to cast into that wind and keep that jig centered on that live scope. But I think with the sun out and warming up that water, I mean, that water dropped a lot from yesterday alone till today from fishing.
In depth or temperature?
Temperature wise.
Yeah. Well, yeah, what was 100, 106 yesterday or 2 days ago now?
Yeah.
You know, tomorrow they're showing 91 for a high, 24% chance of moisture. Wind, they're saying 10 mile an hour south-southwest. We'll see what happens. It's always, when you get on the big water, it's its own animal sometimes. You'll leave town, you'll leave Hazen or Beulah and look and say, oh man, it's almost dead calm. And you go up there and there's white caps. Or vice versa. It can be blowing hard in town and you go 15 miles north of the water and it'll be just glass smooth. So really going to have to judge once we get out there in the morning and see what everybody can do. I talked to one team. They went all the way to the west border today. They weighed 3 fish. And I said, well, you going there tomorrow? He said, no, I don't care if the water's glass tomorrow. I'm not running all the way out there again. So we'll see. We'll see what everybody decides to do. You know, the little bay we were in, we got there. I want to say there was probably almost a dozen boats in there. Probably about half of them tournament boats and half of them guys just out fishing. It was a pretty rough morning to be just out fishing. I'll tell you, I'm a fair weather guy. There's no way, if it wasn't for this tournament, we'd have been sitting right here in this shop playing ping pong and having a beverage.
Yeah.
So day 2 coming up. Scott will have reports Monday on his daily show. The final results of the Dakota Walleye Classic. They've done some different stuff this year. They've actually got a live update as we were weighing in day 1. Yeah. You could go to
Dakota Walleye Classic, but also on their Facebook page, they're doing live updates as well. And if you want to check that out on Facebook, you can see that.
If you just Google Dakota Walleye Classic and hit it, and their website's fairly good to use. You hit their little menu and it shows results, and you click into it, and it's live. It updates, I think, every 5 minutes. Yeah. So tomorrow or today, if as you're listening, when everybody's weighing in day 2, they will have live results on there as the weigh-ins are coming in.
Let me ask you this though, because on day 2 they usually keep those secret until, especially if you're in the top 20.
With
I wonder if they're going to do that again. Top 5.
top 5.
Yeah, I think they're. I don't think they're going to let.
I just don't know though with this live scoring system. I'm not sure.
I think they're going to hold off. So
did they do
secret.
it last year? Okay.
Yeah, that way it's a surprise.
Well, it is when you're doing. Scott and I emceed this tournament for years. Ran patrol boat and emceed this tournament, and it really builds the excitement. And usually the top 3 teams got a pretty dang good idea, and they're in the top 3, but they don't always know for sure if they won or not.
Yeah.
So it'll be a fun as usual. Come out to Beulah Bay, north of Beulah, North Dakota.
And this is the nice thing about it. The public is welcome to come and join the party, even like tonight. And I think tomorrow they have music and
they got music.
Food,
they got bouncy houses,
stuff for kids. So it's not just the people that are in the tournament. Anybody can come out and join in.
It's always a nice little party at the end of the tournament.
Absolutely. It's a party even without the end of the tournament.
It was a party this morning trying to get out to our fishing spot.
Yeah. So here's the question I got. So since we have about 3.5 minutes left of the show, I am always under the assumption when you go fishing, you take beer. And you don't allow any alcoholic beverages in your boat, and then 8 people ask you,
now that's not entirely true.
Where's the bourbon? And
don't
you're like,
put that on me.
You're like, oh no, we don't have that. I guess we don't have that. It's not allowed in the Crestliner.
No, that's not true.
Because it's going to get wet on the way out there on the smooth water.
Today it would have got wet.
So.
No, I looked.
No blackberry
Thomas
brandy.
just brought up the blackberry
Nothing.
brandy. I used to have a 5th of blackberry brandy in the side because the first fish you had to take a shot, and we must have caught a few fish in that boat because it's gone. So
it depends on how much a shot is, and
yeah, it was a pretty tiny bottle.
If the shot is in proportion of your body size, I can see it being a big shot.
What are you saying?
You're a big dude.
Oh, fair enough.
That's what I'm saying. But anyway, so tomorrow we're going to change that.
Yeah, we can throw a couple beverages in so we can have something.
Because when those guys ask us, how come there's no hams on we can throw them a can of hams.
Yeah.
And I mean, launch it toward their nice fancy boat.
Jason Carter, Jason and Rory asked. Jason and Rory, Dan Fry and Graney asked. And who was the other one? There was a third one sitting there. All local guys, smart Alex asking me why I don't have any hams for them at 7 a.m.
It's fishing. so like for me, this is my vacation.
It is your vacation.
I get one vacation a year, and it's the Dakota Walleye Classic for 3 days. I get to come up here and just jump in and not have to worry about things, except today, holding on a little bit. And rain gear would have been good. I didn't. So now I understand why Crestliner has the nickname Wetliner.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that.
Absolutely.
The whole design right there on that boat is not conducive to
I'm not sure why you would design a boat to have the spray come out approximately 4 feet in front of the windshield. But they did, and they've sold 1 billion of them. So I don't know if it was just good advertising or I'm not sure what the deal is.
We need to get you.
We make her work.
I think there was a show called Pimp My Ride way back in the day. Maybe they have Pimp My Boat and they'll put like flares out here.
There you go. Big Boston Whaler front end on it or something.
I don't know what's going on there. No, it's a good time though. So Thomas, congratulations. Day 1, 3rd place. Hopefully you guys, that'd be fun if you guys won this tomorrow. That'd be awesome. And that'd be a nice little interview for my daily program on Monday. And
it's been a while since Hawksprung and Carter won it here a few years ago, didn't they? Three or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So there's been some local guys that have won.
And it'd be nice to go out, like I said, see what a live scope's all about.
Right.
So some of us, we have no idea what it is.
Yep.
A lot of people listening are like, that's old technology already, Jesse.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what they're looking at the next thing.
Right.
And but anyway.
I can remember when side imaging first came out. I first heard about it. It was 10 years old already.
Yeah. And you still don't know how to read it.
I don't. I'm horrible at reading that. We got shown that down on Oahe.
Yeah. Brent Chemnitz.
Yeah, going out with Chemnitz. He pulled up to the pilings on the bridge. And he's like, "Check this out, boys!" And
I could just that's when we were doing all the crappie.
Yeah,
under the pylons there.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Day 1 done. Day 2 is on their way here. So I appreciate everybody listening here. If you're an angler and you enjoy the fishing experience, politically correct, by the way, Jesse. So you can have that. You can shake your head all you want. Just wait until you say fisherman to that one woman that's taller and wider than you.
I bet I can still outrun her.
I bet you can't.
Yeah, that's probably true. You see me move. Thomas says, "No, I'm not. I'm not out running her."
That's why in softball, if you hit a home run, you guys don't have to go around the base.
No, you just walk straight to the dugout.
Yeah.
That's what old man beer league's all about.
Thanks for tuning in today. Have yourself a great weekend. Eat meat, drink milk, wear fur and wool, and enjoy the weekend here. And thanks for tuning in to Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio Network. Stations, thank you. Appreciate it. That is the rerun right there. You have yourself a good one. We're going to go get some sleep.